All right, Shalom Yasharallah, Shalom Israel. Before we go any further within this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all praises, all glory, all blessings, and infinite honor unto the true living powers, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Quadash. Once again, Call Allahum La, Alahayanawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Adawan, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Quadash. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's true name, who the people of this world inwardly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the people of this world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. I am the brother Tazayar from the Camp Company of Prophets, located out here in Tampa, Florida. As always, double honors going out to our beloved elder bishops and to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well. Much blessings and salutations going out to the hopeful elect, to the Akim who are qualified that are tuning in, and to the men that are laboring within His truth, scattered across the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, unto you and to your households within these evil days, these evil times which we are surely living in. All right, and so before we get any further within this lesson, which I do hope and I pray, Baba Kushai, that it'll be edifying and you get some edification, all right, which is being pushed out, okay, through the Spirit. Because there's a lot of things going on around the world, all right, a lot of things is taking place in which ultimately is going to usher in the returning of the one who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ. His name is not Jesus. His name is not Yahuda, Yahweh, Yeshua. His name's none of that. Okay, his name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's the one. All right, who's going to make his his presence, known. All right, once he cracked those clouds. But okay, there's things in which we understand that must take place. Signs. Okay, catastrophic events. World events that must go down. All right, to in which is gonna allow us, okay, to measure into to see, before the Lord makes his return, okay, on the face of the earth. All right, so 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. All right, and so we're being able to measure the times that we're living in, all right, in this current age, all right, through the Holy Bible, these scriptures. Okay, the Bible itself is like a measuring stick, all right? And so through the events and the things that are going on around the world, we are lining them up with the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible, the words of the Most High, okay, which it tells you that the words of the Lord are faithful, they are faithful and true, okay? So let's get that real quick. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Okay, and this is the Lord, okay, making an order, going out to the prophets, man, to speak. All right, to speak the Lord's words. All right, to read from these holy texts and to break it down to the nation of Israel, so they can get this understanding of what the Lord is about to do and how he's going to do it, all right, on this earth, man. Okay, basically the Lord's will. So it says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, in which prophecy is dealing with the things that are going to happen within the future, future events concerning, everybody, man. Okay, because everyone in this world, all right, it's bound to prophecy. All right, it's bound to the prophecy, man. All right, now ultimate prophecy is Yahweh Shai returning. Okay, and it says, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So the Lord is putting these words within these particular individuals which he has set up in the latter end, the days, okay, that would be considered the end, which would be a consideration of, if I'm using that word right, I didn't mean to say that, but which would be the end of an age, the end of a world, okay, an age, an eon, okay, a time frame. Stand a lot. All right, so Daniel chapter 12 in verse 13. But go thou thy way to the end be, in which we are in the end. Okay, we are in the end of this current age, this current rulership of the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. Okay, the Caucasian race, which their biblical nationality, in which the Lord, the Creator, who created all things, okay, called them. All right, He labeled and named them the Edomites. That's their nationality. That's their nation. Okay, that's where their lineage, okay, goes all the way back to Esau, Edom. Okay, the nation of Idumeans. Okay, that's the Greek word of saying Edom. But it says, but go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days, which the Lord is talking to Daniel, all right, the prophet, that so after a time of you being here, okay, coming back in your reincarnations, because reincarnation is real. So, all right, that in the latter days, at the end, at the time before the Lord returns, you will be back here on this earth, in which you will prophesy, you will do your job. Okay, that's why it says, for thou shalt rest. Okay, meaning, die. It says, and stand in thy lot. Okay, meaning you're going to be resurrected, you're going to be brought back, reincarnation. Okay, so meaning back, incarnation, back in the flesh, back in the body. And it says, and stand in thy lot, meaning your job, your whole purpose of why you was created. All right, because the Lord created men, individuals, all right, to relay this message, to preach this Bible at the end days, man, before Yahweh Shah returns. And it says at the end of the days, and that's where we're at, man. So let's go back to the 2nd Ezra chapter 15 real quick. And Salaki, I'm not trying to make this a long lesson, man. With the Spirit, hopefully it's edifying, and I touch on, what needs to be touched. All right. So what is it? Check Ezra 15. 9? I think it's 9. It's like 9 and 5. All right. I don't even know, man. We're just gonna keep going though. So 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligent in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before. Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And who was the highest? That's Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, he's about to start visiting, in which he is, already started to, put his hand on this earth, on him, touching, everything that's going on, in this day and age, concerning prophecy, the people, Esau, Edom, who the Israelites, etc. All right, verse 2 says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest, Yahweh, will begin to visit the world which he made. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, in which we're seeing uproars and protests, where is it at? Sedition, protest, major. All right, because every week you're seeing these countries having these countries and their citizens protesting like every day. Look, violence erupts in Chile amid major protests. Oh no, I don't want to go to YouTube. Okay. Palestinians take part in largest anti-Hamas protests in Gaza since start of war. All right, we just read a little bit of this because I have a couple articles, man, in which these are just signs. All right, and through the media, through Esau Edom's media, through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the internet, etc. These forums and these sources of platforms, are we able to get this message across? All right, so it says Palestinians take part in largest anti-Hamas protest in Gaza since start of war. March 26, in which okay, that happened. So this is published yesterday. Palestinians demonstrated against Hamas in northern Gaza on Tuesday in what appeared to be the largest protest against the militant group since the attacks on Israel on October 7th, 2023. All right, one example. We only got to read that shit. Look, now Turkey. Okay, so now in Turkey, police use force to break up protests at a university in Turkey's capital. University students shout slogans during a protest after Istanbul's mayor Ekrem, oh my gosh, that's a long ass name, was arrested and sent to prison. So you even got mayors getting sent to prison and shit, man. People shout slogans in Istanbul, Turkey, Thursday, March 27th. This happened today during a protest called by university students after Istanbul's mayor was arrested and sent to prison. So these are images. Okay, you see these people wilding out, protesting. Okay, and they're upset. All right, police used pepper spray, plastic pellets, and water cannons against protesters in Turkey's capital early Thursday, the latest clash in the country's biggest anti-government protest in over a decade. All right, so not only Palestinians, but you got the Turkeys, the Turkeys, going crazy. All right, I know we got more. All right. Turmoil in Turkey. Turmoil in Turkey. Hey, remember that, turmoil in Turkey. All right, I think it was another one. It's all right though. We just get back to get back to this, man, because all right, these are signs, man. All right, you see uproars of the people in the world. So let's see 2nd Ezra 9:3 in the NLT real quick, Baba Kusha, and please bear with me because I know it's a lot. 9:3 NLT. 9:3 NLT. Okay, what does that say? It says more about the signs of the end. Okay, concerning 2nd Ezra chapter 9. So 2nd Ezra chapter 9, the NLT in verse 3 says, so when there shall appear in the world earthquakes, tumult of peoples. What's tumult? Let's look that word up real quick. Look up tumult. All right, because you have these other countries, all right, and really everybody around the world, they just wilding out, man. All right, it's a time of confusion going on. It says a loud, confused noise, and that's the spirit. I didn't even read that before that. I made that comment of confusion going on. But it says a loud, confused noise, especially one caused by a large mass of people. Tumult, turmoil. All right, tumult of peoples. It says, so when there shall appear in the world earthquakes, tumult of peoples, intrigues of nations, wavering of leaders, confusion of princes. They just fucking, bro, they literally just sent the damn mayor of Turkey to prison. All right, so these are signs, bro. And aren't these things happening right now in our day and age? Second Ezra 9 in the KJV. In verse 4, then shalt thou well understand. All right, you gonna have the understanding, man, that the Most High Yahweh spake of those things from the days that were before thee. So even before we were even born, okay, that the Lord spoke these things into existence. All right, and now they're coming to play in our lifetime. Everybody, everybody, your aunt, your mom, your cousin, your brother, your wife, your boss, your fucking dog, your pet, your goldfish, everything is bound to prophecy under, okay, in being played out by prophecy, man. All right. Verse 5 says, and this is the point I want to get, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end. All right, just how you came into this world. All right, just how the mortal's human life cycle is. Okay, how you birth into this place. Okay, that's your beginning, and then your ending, all right, is when you depart from this place, man. Your spirit goes back up to the Lord. Everything has a beginning and an end, man. From when you making food to when you finish that shit. From when you playing a game or like whatever. Okay. The end of America, the end of the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child, and the rest of these peon Gentiles ruling is manifesting, man. All right, so that's why you seeing all this shit going on. Why you seeing everybody raging, these heathens turning up and shit, man. That's why you seeing earthquakes constantly every day, wildfires, destructions, people losing their lives, planes falling out the sky and shit. Cause it's it. This is it, bro. It's over, bro. All right, it's over for this kingdom. You know, that's it. And we understand that, you know, what's gonna be that sign will surely, you know, lets us know that this shit is over. This man's kingdom is completely over. Is W.W.III. So, as I always like to get, Revelations chapter 11 and verse 14. Actually, let me get this real quick, man. Luke 12 and verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Let's go into these videos, man, these articles concerning Trump. You know, our great President Trump. Fuck out of here. All right. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says old relationship with United States is over. So America is out here burning bridges, man. Your great and your powerful leader, your savior, Trump, DJ Trump, okay, is out here pissing off these nations, pissing off these people, man. In which we understand that there's biblical prophecy that the beast is going to hate the whore. All right, which we're going to get into that, Lord willing, biblical shock. Remember that. All right, because it's all biblical prophecy. So Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday said the old relationship with the United States is over, while vowing to engage in a renegotiation over a trade agreement. Because right now you have Trump, okay, Pharaoh of Egypt. You have Trump, Pharaoh of Egypt, all right, pissing off these other world leaders, pissing off these kings, these presidents, all right, these leaders, which is going to ultimately, you know, lead to these countries and these nations hating America. to where they're gonna just say F it and send nukes this way, man. But it says, vowing to engage in renegotiation over a trade agreement. Carney, 60, who won the liberal leadership this month with 80%. I don't care about that shit, man. Let's get into the important things. It says and this is in quotes, the old relationship we have with the United States based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations is over. So an ally lost, a friend lost, all right? He told reporters the time will come for a broad renegotiation of our security and trade relationship. Carney's remarks didn't specify the future of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, USMCA, which was renegotiated during Trump's first term in office. Okay, and once we understand how that went when Trump was, served his first term in office, it wasn't like this. Okay, he wasn't coming down with that with that proudful, as a spirit, as he was being very proud, but he wasn't coming as, as proud as he is now. Okay, because he's everywhere with it, bro. Okay, look. Published today too, the 27th. Donald Trump cuts off. Okay, get this stupid shit off my phone. It says Donald Trump cuts off U.S. funding. Bro, what's up with this shit, bro? Cuts off U.S. funding to World Trade Organization. What to know? So Trump has cut funding off to the WHO. The United States has suspended its contribution to the WHO. Reuters reported, citing 3 trade sources. Reuters reporting comes as the Trump administration continues adopting protectionist trade policies and intensifies its efforts to drastically reduce government spending. President Donald Trump also put the U.S. on a broader shift away from international institutions. He and his allies see a conflicting with their Americans First economic agenda. The shift includes imposing steep tariffs on American trading partners and pulling away from international bodies, including WTO, the World Health Organization, the United States, and foreign aid initiatives. Okay, so he's basically saying fuck you, okay, with his actions. All right. It says that WTO has already been significantly weakened by Trump's decision in 2019 to block the appointment of new judges to its top appeals court. That action left the WTO's core dispute resolution mechanism only partially operational, as Washington accused the appellate body of overstepping its authority in trade rulings. All right. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of this. In 2024, the WTO operated on an annual budget of 205 million Swiss francs, approximately 232 million, based on a contribution system tied to each member's share of global trade. The United States was expected to provide 11% of that total. Reuters reported, citing public WTO records. Earlier this week, Trump announced that his administration will impose a 25% tariff on cars not made in the U.S. So, really, you don't really have really much, of anything that America makes, man. It's certain things, certain things like certain car parts. Okay, and really, you got like GM cars, like you got Dodge, Chevy, Ford, and Cadillac. I think Cadillac too. Yeah, that's a GM. Really, that's really the major car brands, really. But basically everything else is like foreign. That's in here. Especially the reliable cars like Hondas, Toyotas, Lexuses, Acuras, the JDMs and Japanese made cars and etc. Just these other cars and foreign cars come from these different countries, man. And that's where a lot of these cars make a lot of their a lot of these businesses, corporations make their money from America, man. This is why it even tells you how these people are gonna weep. These nations are gonna weep for America when it gets destroyed, because they were making so much money off this place. They were benefiting off of America. All right. This is why, man. So let's read some more of this, because I actually had an article on that. Okay. And this is what we're seeing, bro. We're seeing Luke 12 and 49. All right. This is a great example of the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 49. All right. That where is it at? Chapter 12 and verse 49, which we're going to read it again. Luke chapter 12 and verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth. Okay, because Yahweh Shai is going to send fire on this earth, man. Okay, a physical flame, a physical fire. Okay, via the way of the thermonuclear missiles, man. All right, and it says, and what will I if it be already kindled? All right, and what he means that is, the tension that's going on in the air, man. The disrespect, that's going on between these nations, man. All right, basically they're preparing for war. They're going to prepare for war. Right now, they're taking little blows at each other by the way of these tariffs being imposed, all right, which America started it. It says Trump announced that his administration would impose a 25% tariff on cars not made in the U.S., man. So if it's not made in the U.S., basically he's saying, he's giving, he's charging these other nations and these countries with a fuck nigga fee. You want to sell your shit here, you gonna have to give me some money. You gonna have to come out some bread, man, to make your money. Okay, so now you're losing more money. Now these countries are losing more money, man. It says, in a move, the White House said it is aimed at boosting domestic manufacturing, though it could also strain automakers reliant on international supply chains. Yeah, because America doesn't make everything, man. Okay, even the cars that are made in America, man, the parts, where the fuck you think them parts come from, man? All right, come from these other countries, man. These other major contributors. Okay, major retailers, sellers. All right, because America, all right, it's a fucking big ass city, a big ass marketplace full of consumers. That's all these Americans are. They're consumers. Although the White House projects that the new tariffs will generate $100 billion in annual revenue, and he thinks, well, he's telling the people, the Babylonians, the Americans, that through us, taxing these other countries and applying this fuck nigga fee on them, that we're gonna gain money from this, and we're gonna make America great for the people, which is lies, man. Actually, because it's my this precept just keep popping up in my head. All right, because this is basically what the administration and those who are set up within that office, okay, by the high and lofty ones, these elites, okay, is telling, these the ones that's been set up, to push out this message, to push out this vibration, this energy. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they shall say peace and safety. Okay, he's talking about Doge checks, okay, which is another form of stimulus. All right, which these devils know what they're doing, man. Why do you think they even had a whole stimulus thing with Trump? It's to condition the mind of the people, bruh. To keep these people in a peace, docile, little estate, man. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, yeah, Trump's gonna restore America. Trump's gonna make America great again. MAGA, in which all that shit goes into sorcery, man. Then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Exactly, man. Destruction is about to come to America. Okay, at the aid, of these other countries. All right, right then you got Iran flexing flexing their artillery, their military, I was gonna say artillery, man. It's all biblical prophecy, dude. All right. It says, industry analysts and economists across the spectrum warn that it could severely disrupt global supply chains and lead to higher prices for consumers. Yeah, for the people. Despite these concerns, Trump defended the tariffs as a way to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., calling current cross-border supply chains ridiculous and declaring that this is permanent. So he said he's standing on business, man. Let's get this. The United States, is not prepared to win an economic war against China. Built container ship farmers, ocean carriers warn. The U.S. is considering steep fines on container ships made in China as a way to help revive domestic shipbuilding. All right, and so guess what? You're going to see inflation, heavier inflation than ever before, bro. Because Trump, wants to make America great again. All right. It says, from global ocean carriers to U.S. farmers, business interests are warning that the economic consequences will be devastating. The World Shipping Council estimates that the rules being considered by the U.S. trade representative would soon cover 98 of all linear vessels calling on U.S. ports. A one forever container ship preparing to leave a dockyard of Jiangsu, I'm gonna read it, Yangtze Mitsu Shipbuilding on March 18th, 2024, in Shenzhou, in China. All right, in China. Okay, but this article was published on the 25th. So these things have been happening, man. All right. It says business interests from U.S. farmers to global ocean carriers are warning of severe economic damage from proposals being considered by the U.S. So the U.S. is doing it to itself, man. All right. America is allowing itself to crumble. Okay. They're doing this for a reason, though, because these elites, believe that that they're going to build back better. Okay, that's their slogan. BBB, build back better. The 3 B's. All right, 3 big B's, build back better. So it's a lot going on, man, which is ultimately going to lead to this. Revelations chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, in which I always go into this, when I bring this out in Revelations 11 and 14, that second woe is it's talking about World War II, which was a catastrophic event, was a world event, to be exact, to where you had the world powers, the kings of the earth, fighting against one another. All right. And so it says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Yeah. We're seeing literally the buildup of World War III, because that third woe is talking about World War III. So it's all written within the scriptures. It's prophesied that World War III will come to pass. And that's why it says the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, we're seeing these things, man. We're seeing America pissing off its allies. We're seeing America's enemies coming together against Babylon. Okay. So Revelations the book of Revelations, chapter 17, and shit, let's start at verse. Damn, where should I start at? Let's start at verse. Let's start at verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," which would be the EEC, the European Economic Community. All right, in which I have actually the list, in which it goes into Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, West Germany, Greece, Spain, and Portugal, England, and Iceland. All right, in which also, which would be informed with, the part of, engrafted within the NATO, okay, the NATO, the EU, okay. But it says, in which these are going into countries, it says, which have built an alliance with America. It says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Yeah, and the whore is talking about America. All right, Babylon the Great, it's known to be a whore, a harlot. Why? Because of its sorceries, it's witchcraft, it's whoredom. All right, because in this place in America, you can do as you want, and you can serve, as many gods and false idols as you want to, man. And it says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Okay, because the Lord is going to use these other nations, okay, and these allies and the enemies of America to destroy America, to completely wipe this all of the United States, the U.S., off the face of the earth, man, by the way of thermonuclear missiles. And that's why you get the burn her with fire, because what do you do to a witch? Okay, one that dibbles and dabbles within sorcery. Okay, you're supposed to burn them. It's in the law. You're supposed to burn that. Burn them, man. Okay, in America, it's personified to be as a woman. Okay, personification. All right, that's what, that's why it says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." America doesn't really have flesh, it's talking about that whore, though. That shit is upon many waters, in which we understand those waters is going to these other nations as well. All right. Why? Verse 17 says, "For the Most High Yahweh have put in their hearts," so in their minds, "to fulfill his will." So the Lord put it in their minds, okay, to do this. So in that day, when those nuclear missiles and them nuclear rockets be shut off, it's because the Lord sanctioned it. He put it in the minds of these kings and these leaders, okay, to press that button. Okay, because why? It's his will. It's the Lord's will. The Lord wants this to happen, man. Okay, because this place is wicked, and it's against Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shai. It's against righteousness. It's against order, true order. All right, and it says, "And shall make," it says, "and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled." Verse 18, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, Babylon the Great, aka America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth." All right. And so soon, man. And now, these are just things that's going on, okay, and which is just showing us that we're still seeing these signs, man. Okay, that Trump, he can't stop biblical prophecy. Nobody can stop prophecy, man. All right, it's already been set. As scripture says in Habakkuk 2 and 3, the vision has been set for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And now it's speaking. We're seeing these things, man. Oh, before we go, we gotta see Iran flexing. Okay, Iran flexing, man, popping their shit. It says Iran releases video showing top military officials touring missile facility amid uptick in U.S. military movements to the region. All right, and this is the weak basically saying they strong, man. So check it out. All right. So, yeah, man, all things that's going on, everything that's going on in the world leads up to a prophecy being fulfilled, man. Ultimately, to the day of Yahushua returning, bro. That great day of Yahushua's return. Okay, so, that was just, a quick, concerning on what's going on, man, and the warning of World War III, which is inevitable, the return of Yahushua, which is inevitable. Okay, don't forget, this devil also, about to mandate and bring forth that MOTB, man. So all these things going on is really to usher in the kingdom of heaven, to usher in Yahushua. And so, Lord willing, you was edified from this, and you brothers and you sisters, you keep watching and understanding the times that we in, man, because this is the end. Okay, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, infinite blessings unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakha HaKodash. I say Tawara Yahweh Bahashim Shai for giving me the spirit to relay his message and to do his will. Till next time I see Shalom. Hawa Abba Shalom.